A very good morning, dear children. Today we will continue the remaining part of the chapter number 1, the living world adaptations and classification. Children, in the last class we have seen adaptations in aquatic and desert plants. Now in today's class we are going to see adaptations in plants of snowy regions. Snowy region means where there is a falling of snow much more. So, before discussing these plants in snowy region, let us discuss this question first. In what way are sloping branches useful to plants in snowy region? So, whichever plants we are looking in snowy region, these plants have sloping branches. So, due to sloping branches, what happens, children? The whatever snow will fall on these sloping branches, it will fall down. Okay, so there is no storage of snow on these branches. So for an adaptation, the plants in snowy region have sloping branches. Coniferous trees like pine and deodar. Coniferous means cone bearing, means that is having cone shape. You are looking, children, at ice cream cone, just like that branches has shape, that is coniferous. Okay, cone like shape is there, so it is called as coniferous trees. So coniferous trees produce seed cones, means that is having cone shape. Then cones hold these seeds. So seeds hold due to this cone only. So the leaf of a coniferous is needle, means needle shape leaf, needle shape of that leaf are there, and due to that it is called as coniferous trees. So these coniferous trees like pine and deodar we are looking in snowy region. So trees are conical in means that is cone shape with sloping branches. Due to heavy snowfall and cold weather, so there is a adaptation. So due to snowfall, what happens, children? Due to this shape of the branches, coniferous or cone shape, so whatever that snow will fall on these coniferous trees, it will not accumulate. Accumulate means it will not store on the top of the tree. So these coniferous trees have thick bark which helps the tree to stand in the cold also. So where is that adaptation in case of coniferous trees? That is, they are having thick bark, and that thick bark helps them to stand in the cold also. I hope, children, you all have understood this coniferous trees and adaptation in plants of snowy region. Adaptation in plants of forest region. So in forest there is a diverse variety of plants, trees, shrubs and herbs. Okay. So in the forest, all the plants compete among themselves for sunlight. So in forest, what happens, children? This plant want, okay, or these trees want sunlight for photosynthesis or for making their own food. So these plants in forest region, okay, they are competing among themselves for the sunlight. So trees grow tall to capture sunlight, and climbers and vines grow with the support of trees. So in the forest there are not only trees, children, we are looking in the forest climbers also. There is a presence of climbers and vines. So these climbers and vines are also growing with the support of forest trees. So climbers have adapted by having spring-like tendrils with which they support from host tree. Okay. So these climbers are growing with the help of these trees. And there is adaptation to this climber because that is having spring-like structure to these climbers, that is called as tendrils. Okay, so with the help of these tendrils, they are taking support from these forest trees. Okay, so they are taking support from other plants. So that other plant is called as host tree. Okay. In grassland plants. So bush and grass of different varieties or different types we can see in grassland. So due to this grassland plant, we can prevent soil erosion because grass has fibrous root, and fibrous root has capacity to store water or to absorb water. So what is meant by soil erosion, children? Soil erosion means loss of soil due to wind and water. If large amount of wind is there, then due to that also soil is moving from one place to another place. Okay, so there is a soil erosion. Then if there is more amount of wind is there, then also there is a loss of soil due to this wind, means from one place to another place. Now very tall grasses we can see in the equatorial region. So animals like tiger, elephants and deer take shelter in these grasses. So we are looking very tall grasses in this equatorial region, and due to that large amount of grass or very tall grasses, the tiger, elephants and deer can take shelter in this grass. So very short grasses are there in the cold region. So small animals like rabbit can take shelter in this very short grass. Now there is a presence of vast meadows are found in plains and hilly areas. Vast meadows means there is a presence of more amount of grass. Okay, so that we can see in case of plains, plain region and hilly areas. Looking children, that is adaptation for ingestion of food in plants. Ingestion means that is the process of taking food in case of plants. Okay, we know children most of the plants are autotrophic, means they are preparing their own food with the help of photosynthesis. But there are some plants which are parasitic. Parasitic means what, children? That is depend upon another organism or another plant, that is host plant, for their food, and they are causing harmful effects and harmful diseases to that host plant, that is called as parasites. So for example, dodder and cuscuta or dodder and cuscuta, which is leafless and thus cannot perform photosynthesis, means cannot prepare their own food. Okay, so these are the parasitic plant. So due to dodder and cuscuta, they have historical, means special types of roots are there for sucking and absorbing nutrients from the host plant, from another plant. Okay, so it grows on host plant. So host plant is the plant which grows on other plant for their food. Okay, children. Fungi cannot perform photosynthesis as they do not have chlorophyll, and they obtain food from starchy foodstuffs. Starchy means what, children? Such as bread and bhakri. So from that they are taking their own food. Okay, or they are taking food. Root like fibers are present in them for absorption of food. Okay, so in fungi there are special type of roots are there, and with the help of that roots they are taking their food. Now, in plants like Drosera, that is sundew, then Venus flytrap, then pitcher plant, etc., consume insects to fulfill their need for nitrogen. So, all these plants, that is Drosera is there, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, they are taking insect for fulfilling their need for nitrogen. The plants in nitrogen deficient are usually insectivorous plant, such as such plants have structural adaptation to attract insects and hold them captive, means hold them in their cage. So this Drosera, Venus flytrap, these and pitcher plant, these plants have lack of means what? They are having deficiency of nitrogen. So for getting nitrogen, these plants are absorbing this insect, or these plants are eating insect, and these plants have special type of structure. Due to that, insect can capture, or they can capture insect, and they can hold them in the cage. Okay, just like cage structure is there, so that insect cannot go again. Okay, so once the insect will captured by these plants, that insect cannot move from there. Okay, so that is called as insectivorous plant. Looking the adaptation in plants, we are going to see, children, now adaptation in animals. So before that we are going to discuss aquatic animals and terrestrial animals, their difference. So aquatic animals are those animals which live in or who lives in water. And terrestrial animal is an animal who lives in the land. Okay. So these aquatic animals doing respiration through their gills or skin. And these terrestrial animals can respire through their lungs or trachea. Then aquatic animals show adaptations such as streamlined bodies, fins, webbed feet, and air bladder. So in aquatic animals, there is a presence of fins, webbed feet, then air bladder also. But in these terrestrial animals, there is an adaptation of their legs, waterproof skin, then feathers, and covered eggs and kidney. Okay. Then this aquatic animal's skin is slippery and soft. And the skin for this terrestrial animal is leathery, leathery, hard or spiny. Now let us see children adaptations in aquatic animals. In that we are going to see adaptation for fish. So the aquatic animal shows modified structure of the body. There is a presence of tapering spindle-shaped body with scales and fins for swimming purpose. Okay. Then in fish there is a respiration by gills and there is a presence of air bladder within the body for floating purpose. Adaptation we are going to see children, that is adaptations in amphibians. So frog is an amphibian. It can live both on land and water. So being a true amphibian, it can breathe in water with the help of skin, and when on land, it can breathe with nose and lungs. So there is adaptation in frog. That is, frog has webbed toes. Webbed toes means joint fingers. Okay, and powerful hind legs. Hind legs means backside limbs are there. That is called as hind legs. Okay, then slimy, slippery, and smooth skin and double mode of breathing. Okay, that is in water as well as on land. And there is having covering of skin color. Okay, because this skin color matches with grass, and due to that, this frog can hide himself in the grass. Okay. Duck. Duck is a bird. It cannot take oxygen dissolved in water. It breathes only with the help of lung. Duck is not amphibian. Means duck cannot live in water and land. And duck is a amphibious. Amphibious means those who can live on land and air. That is called as amphibious. But for breathing purpose, he goes in water. Okay. So the birds which live on land and air but breeds in water means form another living things like themselves. For that they are going in the water. Okay, or for swimming purpose also they are going in the water. Duck has par like legs. Okay, means spur like legs, and which helps him to swim in water. So with the help of this spur like eggs, he can swim in the water. Animal is tortoise. Tortoise is a reptile that cannot breathe in water. It put its nose out of water to get some air. So though it stays in water, it cannot breathe in water. Hence it is not an amphibian, but it is a amphibious. Means he can live in water. Okay, but he cannot breathe in water. So it is called as amphibious. Okay. Now next adaptation is adaptation in forest and grassland animals. So there are some animals which live in grassland, that is called as herbivorous animals, and the animals which live in forest, that is called as carnivorous animal. So let us differentiate both of. So carnivorous means those who can eat herbivorous animal, that is called as carnivorous animal, and the animals which can eat plants, or those who are eating only plants, that is called as herbivorous animals. So carnivorous animals have strong legs with sharp claws. Okay, and herbivorous animal has long tapering legs with strong hooves, that is feet. Okay. Habit of walking. So carnivorous element has silent walker nature. Okay, during capturing the prey, means they are going very slowly and they are capturing their prey. Then herbivorous animals are running and jumping fast. They are running and jumping fast. Now eyes. Carnivorous animal has front of head and keen eyesight to spot the prey from a long distance. Okay, their eyesight is very strong, and due to that they can spot or they can catch the prey from a long distance also. Now, below the forehead on either side of the head. Okay, so these eyes in herbivorous animals are below the forehead on either side of the head, on one side of the head. Okay, now teeth. This carnivorous animal has pointed canines, pointed teeth, and this herbivorous animal has strong molars, means this middle teeth are strong. Now ears. Carnivorous animal has small ears, and this herbivorous animal has long and freely moving ears. Okay. Now examples: wild dog, fox, tiger, and lion. And herbivorous animals are deer and black buck, that is antelope. These are the examples of herbivorous animal. Watching the video and for your attention.